Welcome back to Two Brothers Sports Podcast, presented by RamboOnSports.com. Today is Wednesday, August 30th, and we have a birthday boy on the pod. Happy 2-4, happy Kobe year to Max. Looking forward to getting his insight on the weekend, seeing what we're going to do tomorrow to celebrate. I know we'll be at the lake, so going to have a kick-ass weekend celebrating that B-Day. We've also got a great Irish game against Navy to talk about on Saturday, along with week 0 picks. We've got the AFC and NFC North. We have Sean here as well. Of course, we got to have Sean for the AFC North preview. Just happened to pair it with the Green Bay Chicago crew as well. Figured we'd knock out the North and just get the boys back together one more time before the season starts. Kind of, get a little tune up before we just start slinging picks left and right. So, without further ado, Max, happy birthday. How we doing, dude?
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, dude. It was a fantastic weekend. I'll say, even if no one sends me any gifts or anything, I'll be just okay because I fucking killed this weekend. So I'm doing great. It's beginning of the week. I love the early pod. I'm ready to talk shop as always.
Sean, welcome back, buddy. It's been a couple weeks, but
Uh,
happy to have you back, bud. Ready for the
yeah,
football season.
I appreciate that. It's like a school teacher. I had to go and take those vacations in the summer. Get activities, things like that done. Then looked at the calendar, and the school year's right here. The football season's here, so I look forward to being here with you guys each week and picking some winners.
Yes.
I
That's
can't
cool.
wait.
Yep. Max, so elaborate a little bit. What did you kill this weekend? Was it an animal or was it your bets?
uh, Everything. No, so went undefeated UFC. We had that parlay. It was Blanchfield, New Kamara, and good old Holloway. And then Anthony Smith ended up winning in decision. He was plus money. I told him just straight.
Yep.
And I ended up hammering Giga, who I think this was his first fight back in a couple years. He's an absolute dog. And I didn't mention that in the pod, but I just absolutely hammered him and he won. So that was very nice. But yeah, dude, I mean that if we want to talk about it, Notre Dame, I mean, I had a nice little 100% profit boost on that spread. I mean,
Yes.
20 and a half, like Jesus Christ, like what were they thinking?
Yeah.
That was that was another hammer. You know what I mean? It was great. Cubs, I bet Cubs that night, hammer the Cubs money line. It was just awesome. It was just a fantastic weekend.
I love to hear that. Yeah, I mean, shit. Let's just dive into the Notre Dame game real quick while we're here. Um, I mean, dude, I am fucking amped. I think I'm still riding that high from Saturday. I mean, playing in Ireland, you kind of knew that we had a little home field advantage. Shout out all the people that traveled there. I know 5, 10 people that were at that game coming over from the States. So shout out to those guys. Hope everyone had a good time. I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Why wouldn't you also just trip out of it, right? Enjoy your time in Europe. So
Yeah.
brilliantly planned. We'll have to get out there next time that they do something like that. But dude, the Sam Hartman show, the Gerard Parker show. I mean, goddamn. And how about Al Golden with the game plan? I mean, like defense and 3 points on a triple option. The only
Yeah.
I'll like give like Notre Dame just a little slight. You get all off season to prepare for the triple option. Probably a little bit easier for that. But Sean, go.
Al Golden, you mean like the old you was he like on UVA or Miami or something?
Yep, I think both. I think he was at Al Gold. I think he was at UVA at some point. Definitely Miami though. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Random.
interesting. Is he the DC?
Yep.
Oh,
I know. So double check where he was right before that, but um dude was rolling. I mean, they let up 3 the whole time. Let's see. Sorry. I'm trying to look it up now. But I mean, overall, they passed for 45 yards. Kind of expected that with, Notre Dame. But yeah, so
Yeah.
he was at UVA as a grad assistant. He also was DC at UVA 01 to 05. head coach at Miami in 11 to 15, and then bounced around a little bit with the NFL before coming back to Notre Dame last year.
Okay.
So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. He is a Penn State grad, so hopefully maybe he can get some of those PA guys. But yeah, absolute stellar game plan. Gerard Parker, shout out West Virginia. The OC there was a little interested to see how they would approach this game. I mean, a perfect blend of passing and running. But let me just breathe, take a sip real quick. Max, let's get your thoughts.
I just want to say how great it feels to have a quarterback again, a
Mhm.
true just quarterback. You can rely on to make those perfect passes and shit. I mean, we've had to deal with Ian Book and Tyler Buckner, and I mean, we haven't had someone great since like Clausen or Quinn. So feels awesome. I mean, he absolutely showed out. 19 for 23, 251, 4 tutties. Just not much more we could ask for, as well as Audric Estime. I mean, he's an absolute monster. He's unreal. So shout out Jaden Greathouse as well, the freshman.
Yo, yes, gonna be a stud. Luckily, he can only leave after his sophomore year, so we at least get him for next year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a stud. Something I wrote down, wanted to get your take on it. Estime and both, and also Chris Tyree with a couple fumbles. We did not lose the ball, thankfully. Any concerns with Estime on the fumble? Because I don't know if that was just an unlucky thing, maybe some nerves, but
Hey, you saw the weather.
yeah,
It was wet out there. It was
fair.
raining pre-game, I believe, and maybe even a little drizzle beginning of the game. It was wet.
Good. I needed that assurance, not insurance. You know me. I'm in insurance all day. Uh, also, other running backs. So we had three other running backs with a 5 yard per carry or more. I think, granted, it's not a lot per player, but I think it's something to mention. We got Jeremiah Love went 4 for 40. Jabrian Payne 6 for 31, and then Jadarian Price 4 for 25 and a tud. So I feel like it's going to be a very balanced offense. I think for us three, the college football fantasy league we have. I've got Estime. I love him. I think he's going to be getting a ton of carries, but this does give me a little hesitancy just because we're going to be looking like we're going to spread the ball around. And then you got Devin Ford, who's the Penn State grad transfer too. So expect him to get more carries going forward. I'll tell you what, though, a four-headed monster in the backfield is not something to sneeze at. So,
No, and Jeremiah loves the freshman as well.
yep, yeah. So, I mean, we're in really good shape. I think seeing the playmaker talent on the offense was something really awesome. I mean, Deion Colsey with a great snag, a couple great snags actually. And then to your point, just having a quarterback just be back there and knowing that when you look at him, he doesn't look like he's about to shit his pants. Dude's played like 38 college football games before this year. So I think it's just going to be really nice to have. And I think to your point, you mentioned Clausen and Quinn. Clausen, he's probably going to end up closer to a Quinn than a Clausen. I feel like Clausen was talented, but I feel like Sam Hartman's got this leadership quality that I don't know what it is about this team, but between him and Marcus Freeman, watch the fuck out, man. I mean, we are just really excited and overly hyped after week 0. But
That looked really, 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 really fucking bad. Like Navy looked terrible. Maybe
yeah,
that's just us making them look like that, but they just looked like shit.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I know Middle Tennessee State is the next game. Hopefully we just continue there, but it's a couple games before Notre Dame really starts getting challenged. And but that being said, they still have a lot of good games coming up. I mean, they play Ohio State, USC, and Clemson. So going to be an interesting year, but they don't play Ohio State for another 3 weeks. I'll tell you what, that NC State game, and I'm gonna hit hard on NC State here in a little bit, but that away NC State game, 2 weeks before Ohio State on the 9th of September, cannot take that game lightly.
No,
Otherwise, we're gonna get fucked. So tough little schedule for them, but overall, extremely pumped with the way they looked. Looking forward to what they've got on the horizon.
Yeah, no, they looked solid, nice and crisp. So no complaints.
No, absolutely none. Our bitter rival USC looked pretty solid. A little bit of a slow start, but beat San Jose State 56-28. Did not cover their 30.5 that we both expected. My lock of last podcast.
Do you want to issue an apology?
Yes, I do. That was my absolute lock of
Mea
the
culpa.
podcast. USC did not cover the -8.5, -7.5. They didn't cover shit. Should have kind of thought about that one, but at the same time, I mean, come on. Notre Dame was up like 24-0 at the end of the first quarter. I would have thought USC could have at least been up 10 points. But hey, good for us moving forward. Get USC on October 14th. I'm going to be up in the district with my brother over here in the Auto Square, Sean. Maybe Max will come up too. We'll see. Get a little boys get together. Ooh. But looking forward to the USC Notre Dame game then.
Absolutely.
Caleb Williams is a stud. I don't think that was anything we didn't know, but that was about the only other takeaway I had from that game.
Yeah, that's about it. John, any good
slow start for them, but it looks like they pretty much, second half look like what they'll do against inferior teams. Same thing. I'll say from the perspective out here, I think it's a little bit like with Notre Dame. You don't want to take too much out of this. Certainly, they're going to be playing much tougher opponents. But if you're fans of either of those two teams, you walk away being, hey, that's exactly what we need to do here. Just go out and just absolutely step on these teams. So yeah, I was impressed with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an adult in the room back there, and Sam Hartman. I'm glad he's on my Fan Tracks team, especially with McCord at Ohio State, like not having won the game. That's all right. That's not a conversation for here, but yeah, I mean, he looks good. Those young receivers that you have are certainly some athletes there, and running back depth is huge in college football.
100%. The only other shout out I really had was shout out UMass getting the first win of the season and also tying their season wins total from last year at 1. But Don Brown's got the boys buzzing. Shout out Michigan D coordinator. Always a fun guy to watch. I forget what. I don't think they had a Hard Knocks, but I think they had some kind of Amazon Prime documentary, I think, with Michigan at some point. I think Don Brown was the D coordinator then. I don't know if I'm just talking crazy shit, but yeah, or it might have been a Hard Knocks. Was it a Hard Knocks? I don't know if it's Hard Knocks or Amazon Prime. I don't know. But either way, Don Brown was a super great character, good defensive coordinator, and I thought New Mexico State would roll. So it turns out the only thing I know is Notre Dame football because that's the only bet I hit all weekend. So I'm glad Max had the opposite result. But I also didn't bet on UFC like we talked about. So that's just my bad. But yeah,
that's also a shout out to Jacksonville State getting a victory in their first game as, I guess, Division I team. You know who their coach is?
Ooh.
He was the coach at a big Power 5 school in 2007. They were on their way to go to the national championship, but slipped up at the end of the season to their bitter rival.
I know here. Max, do you want to give it a go or do you want me to answer it?
Why don't you just answer it, Sam?
Rich Rod.
Bingo.
Yes. 13-9. He's just
that will hit with some people.
I like that. Vandy gets a dub against Hawaii. Doesn't cover, but a 7-point.
The over hit though.
Yes, it did hit. I think Max and I said the under. So
we
just needed a warm-up weekend. That's why we have week 0. We get that shit out.
Yeah, I did have or Hawaii cover 17, so that was nice.
Okay, you did have that. Okay, nice. Yeah, that was. Other than that, that's about all I had for week 0. Got ourselves a very solid Thursday slate. We'll do more on this upcoming Thursday to pod Friday when you guys listen. So we'll get the full weekend slate, but definitely some games to pick at. Should we dive into that? You guys got some some fire takes right there. Let's see.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll knock that out, and then I want to get Sean's take on what's going on in the golf world right now. We got the Ryder Cup and Tour Championship to talk about, but yeah, let's do Thursday college football week 1. There's only 4 games I can bet on. I don't know if you guys have any different you have any different books that you're looking at. I'm sure there's offshore shit, but in terms of the big guys, that's about all I have there.
Yep.
Not all I
I
want.
see just 4.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So first one, sorry, trying to look for what I was saying. First one, gonna be a tough one to handicap, but let's try it. Kent State getting 37 points against UCF. Over under is 55.5. The notable player in this game is John Rice Plumlee, transfer from Ole Miss, who has that team buzzing, but plus 37.5 and a 55.5 over under definitely gives me some pause on UCF covering. I don't know about you guys. Any original thoughts there?
Yeah, just that probably just looks like a fun over game for me. I don't know. I see like maybe 42-17 or something to squeak it over. Maybe it's kind of blue balls at the end of the fourth quarter, and just some weird play. College football happens and it hits. So I don't know if I'll play anything here, but it's also probably make a play on every single game here. So I would take over 55 or 55.5.
I agree there. I might sprinkle a little bit on that plus 37. Maybe try and do like a little mid-sized teaser on the 37 and the over. Tease that down. But I agree with you on the over.
And with UCF, it's the first game of the year. If they're up 34 or something like that pretty late, the backups are in. So
yep.
Those MAC schools fight hard to the end.
That's what I was gonna say. Kent State, I feel like that's a team that fights. Should be able to hopefully put it within 5 touchdowns, but
not scholars or football players. Can't read, can't write. Kent State.
Yes. Shout out Rye Roman. Hell yeah. Max, you got anything you like on that slate?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, if anything, I'd probably do the 55.5 over. But also minus 37, you're like, that's a lot. But then at the end of the game, you're like, oh shit, they won by like 45. Like, whoops. Could have just hammered that. So I would say minus 37 as well if I had to or want to. I probably will. Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. There's only 4
Yeah.
I've already got one bet.
I'm obviously gonna throw a parlay with all 4 of these teams together. So
Oh yeah. I've already got some money on one of the games that I've locked in just with the little bit of profit I had from the weekend. So we'll get to that in a sec. But next game I was gonna write this down in time order, but I wanted to end with Florida, Utah, so I switched it around a little bit. NC State is playing at UConn. NC State minus 14.5 and an over under of 46.5. Any loves, likes, plays we like there?
I like the money line. Well, I think 14.5 is definitely close. Might buy a point just to get it to like 13.5. But then again, I think they probably win by like 21-28. I like that spread. Just that the 14.5 does not intrigue my eyes. I don't like that. I like a nice 13.5, 6.5, 2.5, 20.5. So yeah, but yeah, minus 14.5. Sorry.
No, I like it. Sean?
When it's the first week, we know nothing here, so a lot of it's kind of just like throwing darts blindfolded. But one thing that we can't go back to is some of the same things we talked about at the end of last year. And I know, we're big chart guys, big trend guys, like seeing what teams are doing well against the spread. Certainly, we remember our Tulanes and Oregon States from last year. UConn sneakily covered 69% of their games. Very nice from them. NC State only covered 30% of their games last year. Certainly some new faces, things like that. But that's a lot of points at home. So give me UConn plus 14.5.
I like that. I remember, I literally remember last year you were like, I think you were like, which college has like both basketball and football, like 8-0 against the spread right now or something, like 8-0 streak.
Hey, we got those fun nuggets here.
Yeah.
I like it. I'll tell you what though. I'm super pumped to see. I know Devin Leary was the QB last year. I think he went to Kentucky.
Sure did go to Kentucky.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say it's honestly you got to give us a little credit because transfer portal is goddamn everyone, especially quarterbacks right now. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. Go get your bag and get your minutes on the field. But shout out, a dude played pretty well at UVA. Brennan Armstrong, lefty, coming into NC State. I like what the offense looks like. I love NC State's defense. It's like top 12, I think, in the entire college football. 19.2 points per game allowed on defense. They lose a couple guys, but nothing super insane. I think they lost a linebacker and maybe a D tackle, I think is what it was. They're still going to be really solid. I'd say so. I'll say this before I give my take. This is probably one of my favorite bets of the weekend. NC State team total over 30.5 points at minus 120. I think that even though it's a 46.5 over under, I think it is going to be a little bit higher scoring. I think that it's going to be close to I really like a 35 kind of 17 game. So that being said, I do lean on the over, but I really do like NC State. I hear all the UConn stuff. I just want to get on the Brennan Armstrong NC State wagon before anyone else does. So that's kind of where I'm coming from there. But I think they put up a good number of points. And the one pick I would say, if you don't like the 14.5, definitely I agree with Max on teasing it down, maybe even to like a 13.5 or 12.5, just to make sure you get that extra hook. I think it's worth it. I think it's probably, I had to look real quick. If you're looking at like
for the 13,
minus 12.5 is like minus 151. I think that's a little bit of juice, but I think at the same time that's definitely worth it. I think they can. And then the over 46.5, I think it'll be, I think UConn will be able to put up 17 or more points. And I think UConn obviously goes over 30.5. So kind of just might be one of those that I stay away from just for the sake of not doubling, kind of putting too many eggs in the basket. But I think this will be a much better game than people anticipate.
Yeah.
Word. Anything else, or we want to move on to Nebraska at Minnesota? Are we rowing the boat or are we husking some corn?
Well, I hate everything about this.
Yeah, right.
Like I think it's going to be ugly and kind of low scoring, but that over under is disgusting 43.5.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting right at a touchdown in Minnesota's favor. That seems about right. I don't, picture them running away with this. So I'll kick it to it if anyone has more of actual feeling on this.
I'm gonna be a corn husker, I believe.
You gonna husk some corn?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because one of my buddies is out there, and like a newscaster out there, and he goes to a lot of games and shit, and he's been hyping me up this off season with some of the stuff he's saying. So, I don't know. I'm feeling Nebraska this year. I don't think they're gonna be like a 500 team, but like I don't think they're gonna be as shit as usual. So I think they kind of come out with a dub here, even though it's not home. But I don't know. I'm feeling it. I might just do money line at that point if it's +7. So plus 225 money.
Famous last words.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, and then it was by like 31, but I don't know. I had a weird feeling, and I just gotta go with it. Gotta take that road.
I don't hate it. I think the one thing to note is that Tanner Morgan is not the quarterback at Minnesota anymore.
I was just gonna mention that.
Yeah, so I think that's like I think I'll probably end up playing Nebraska like +7.5, maybe even do like a teaser of the Nebraska and then maybe like get the under down a little bit. Is that what you're about to say?
I was gonna say the exact same thing I said. If anything, I think I'm gonna tease this
Yep.
Nebraska and then the points.
Mm-hmm. I think like we said on the what was it, the UCF Kent State game, I think this is like a slow start. I don't know if I agree with the over. I definitely agree with down under, but yeah,
I think it's a little too conservative from the folks out in the desert.
Yep, 100%. So I agree there. I'm trying to think. I think it's Jeff Sims is a starting QB for Nebraska.
I got a guy named Ethan, some very Greek name.
Ooh,
sorry, for Minnesota. I forget. I don't have.
Oh yeah, Ethan. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. For
it's like Kalik Manis or something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for Minnesota.
I'll pull Nebraska's here. Nebraska, it is Jeff Sims.
Yeah, and he transferred from Georgia Tech. I think they're pretty pumped about him. I don't know what kind of offense they're gonna have with Matt Rule, but I mean he didn't play bad at Georgia Tech. I think he was the starter there. It looks like he didn't throw much. I'm trying to check his running.
Yeah, I was gonna say his throwing yardage from 2020 on has not been so great, but his completion's not terrible. He had a lot of attempts in 2020, but other than that.
I'm trying to see who Georgia Tech's leading. Jeff Sims was the leading passer for Georgia Tech, which is crazy. I was like, maybe he didn't start all of his games, but he did. So a little hesitant, but we'll see how Matt Rule uses him. But yeah, I agree. Like a 4-point teaser, get that under, and Nebraska up to like 10.5 or something would be bread and butter there. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Last game of the day. Florida, Utah. The one thing I was looking at that I didn't really realize is that Rising should play, but he's still kind of banged up just from last season, getting hurt on I think it was the Rose Bowl or the last game.
I don't know if Rising will play.
If he might not play at all.
I don't know if that'll matter.
You don't know if that matters? I'm trying to look up who the QB is.
I'm like so low if he's not playing, but
who would be? Was it Bryson Barnes? Would he be the next guy?
I don't know, but that guy did.
Sorry, go on.
Let's see, pull up like their game from.
Yeah. 2 hours ago, I see an article. Can Utah top Florida if Cam Rising doesn't suit up? So,
yep. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I mean, still, I think Florida's butt cheeks.
Utah's got one of their running back is legit.
They've got a couple too. I like the Napier, but I mean, Florida also beat them last year, so I feel like there's a little revenge there.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the Florida boys, they don't want to go to the mountains at night. It's tough to win in Salt Lake City.
Very tough. I mean, Whittingham has those boys ready every goddamn year. I don't know why Utah continues to get. I think they're like serial underrated. Like they are always underrated. They always beat a team that they like. And I'm looking at their Rose Bowl helmet. It's one of the sickest helmets I've ever seen. I'm looking at this Rising one. I mean, dude, They could they could get back there. They could, and I hope they do. I hope they do. I like their program. I'm hoping they do it. Anyways, I didn't even get to the lines. Utah -6.5 and over under 44.5. So I think Sean and I kind of already voiced that we're on the -6.5. Max, where are you at with that?
-6.5. Absolutely.
All
Might
right.
even take it over.
Yeah. What do you guys think on the over under?
I'll probably take the over, yeah.
I'll probably stay away.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, dude, Utah averaged 38.5 points a game last year. Florida allowed 28.8 points per game. That's pretty fucking insane. I didn't realize that was the bigger surprise. Not necessarily Utah putting up 38, but Florida allowing 28. I understand it's SEC, but I mean you're in the SEC East. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, dude.
It's insane.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll go with that. So I think we're all kind of in agreement there. So I like that a lot. Let's see. Just gonna see. That's it though, right? That's it for college football, right?
That's those four.
All right. Now let's recap. Sean, I'm gonna just let you kind of walk us through, but when we talked on our podcast when Max and I were on last week, we basically were like, Scheffler's up what, 4 strokes on the next guy?
Two.
Two. He's up 2 plus 130. Is it worth even playing anyone else? I don't know about you, Max. I didn't end up playing anything this weekend, and Victor Hovland would have made a lot of money, but he had himself a fucking weekend. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I actually just kind of did the like a 4-round snake draft with kind of 3 other people. So 4. So everyone has a team of 4 different golfers. Started from the beginning of the playoffs, and I luckily did have Victor, so he took me through the win there and helped win me a good amount of money. But yeah, I mean, you got to get hot at the right time. I think the PGA Tour and golf is still struggling to find a way to tie a bow on their season. It's tough. You want to make an interesting kind of end and crown the right winner, but like, is Scotty just getting a 2-stroke lead the best way to kind of then just play a whole tournament to decide kind of the tour championship? But do people even care who wins the tour championship? Like, you probably couldn't even name the last few winners there. So it was still fun. For the real golf nuts, we like to look at the shadow leaderboard. That's like who won the actual golf tournament within the golf tournament, which actually was a dead tie between Hovland and Xander, who were both 5 strokes better than Wyndham Clark, who would have finished like 3rd on just if this was an actual tournament. So those guys absolutely tore up East Lake. But yeah, I mean, good for Hovland. Like, I think a guy that we've been talking about all year long, kind of just waiting until he gets his first major win. Only 25. I mean, just it's hard to pick him apart. He's just a nice guy. Like, all his comments, just seems like a good dude. He's talking about winning all that money. He's like, man, I live in Stillwater. Like, the money I have already goes pretty far. But no, I mean, it was we probably would have liked a little bit more contention there for people that were watching. You don't want to ever like root for the guy to slip up, but to kind of give you something entertaining to watch there. But I mean, he was gassed, man. He was awesome, and what a great time to get hot. Your bank account goes way up high if you play well during the FedEx Cup playoffs. But yeah, I mean, now we just focus into the Ryder Cup coming up at the end of September out in Rome. The U.S. hasn't beat the Euros in Europe since '93. So, this is clearly something that they gotta work on. The talk over the last few months was there's the 6 that'll automatically qualify. We kind of knew that would be, and then there's the 6 captains pick. And for about probably the first 10, we knew who that would be. Then it would come down to who do we pick. Of course, for the first time in a while, Justin Thomas was not going to be an automatic lock. He would have to be picked by Captain Zach Johnson. He had a terrible year by his own standards, but he also historically is one of the best Ryder Cup records, not just of the guys active, but really of any American. So it's kind of do you take him even though his game hasn't been playing because he's kind of the vocal backbone of the team and has a good record? They did taking them. I'll just run real quick. It's
Yeah.
Scotty, Wyndham, Brian Harmon, Cantlay, Homa, Shoffley, Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, Brooks Koepka, Sam Burns, and Justin Thomas. So those last two, Burns and Thomas, I think you could make a case for Keegan Bradley, who won a couple times this year. You can make a case for Cam Young, who's had a couple runner-up in majors. Either way, this is the team that we're going with. From a betting perspective, I kind of do like the European team, even though I'll be rooting for the American team. We'll talk more about that later, but I mean, they come in with some guys that are playing really good golf. Of course, Rory, Rahm not playing as well golf, but shit, Scheffler's look like shit. He can't putt right now. Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Lowry, Tyrrell Hatton. So that'll be good. I won't kind of dive too much more there because we'll have time to talk about it as it comes. But that's kind of what's up next in terms of the golf calendar.
Okay. I'll ask anyone, I guess, aside from Bradley, was there? I mean, so Brooks got in, right? So that's good.
Yep.
Is there anyone on the European side that you felt that could have been in? Was there any snubs there? Or?
So the European team hasn't announced they kind of have a similar thing where there's a top qualifying. So their team will probably get rounded out with, after Tyrrell, I mentioned, with Justin Rose, probably Big Bobby McIntyre, the septic tank, which then would leave about two left. Adrian Moronic's a really good player over there, I think Polish. The Højgaard twins, maybe remember Nikolai Højgaard from the British Open, or excuse me, the Open. He did pretty well. Yannick Paul is this German player that's had a really good time on the DP World Tour. And then for the golf sickos, we want the rookie, Ludwig Aberg, who tore it up here in college at Texas Tech. He's already had a couple top 20s in his first few starts at the PGA Tour. And then he's over actually this week, just like Matt Fitzpatrick is playing in the Switzerland Masters to try to gain some more points.
Okay.
Just, get a couple good showings in before those picks. And I do, for the sickos out there, just want to make some more money.
Yeah, do it.
Ludwig Aberg, top 20 at the Switzerland Masters this week is plus 105. At least that's what it is on DraftKings.
Is that top 20?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. I think he might even get top 10, but top 20 still gets you plus money.
Okay. Shit. Yeah.
It's a fun field over there this week.
I was trying to. Is it all just Europeans over there, or is that one that?
No, I mean, there's even like some Americans that didn't make the like Justin Saw is over there. Remember, he did very well at the PGA Championship.
Yep.
I'll do it real quick, just kind of who the leading, like by betting odds to win. So by winner, it's first Matt Fitzpatrick, Ludwig, who they have him second, and you can get him plus money for top 20. So I don't know how that works out.
Yeah.
And then Nikolai Højgaard, Adrian Moronic. So a couple guys you just heard there. McIntyre is up there. Ooh, Adrian Dumont de Chassart. Like Aberg, he just graduated from Illinois, and he'll be playing on the PGA Tour for a long time. Victor Perez is a really good player from France. Alex Fitzpatrick, Alex
brother,
Matt's little brother. He's been playing really well of late on that tour. Padraig Harrington too is over there.
Padraig's still playing, dude.
Yeah, Padraig is. Not only is Padraig still playing, he actually he played pretty well this year. I think he won.
He had the good Open Championship, right? He started off real good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure at another time I'll sit through the Padraig Wikipedia and see how many top 10 majors and stuff he had,
and then we'll just guess who won those tournaments.
Yeah, but like Saturday and Sunday before college football or when college game days on a commercial break, that's a good kind of just switch over, for some coffee golf. I'm sure that'll be on Golf Channel in the morning.
Fair. Can I also throw out some stuff that might be worth watching on
of course
coffee golf this weekend? Speaking of stuff that's going on over in Europe. A little EPL before we get into our NFL preview. Just wanted to get some matchups. Not I'm trying to think. We had Tottenham last week, which was a win, or did they tie? I can't even remember. Um, I think that was one that we had, Max.
Some fan you are. Wait, who are you talking about? Tottenham
Tottenham.
and
It was
Villa?
no, not Tottenham, Villa. Oh, I played Villa money line for sure. But Tottenham was playing. They were like minus 105, and they were
They won 2-0, right?
Yep, that's what it was. Yep, they won 2-0. So they were like minus 105. There's one other game I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I had Villa for sure. And then Brentford, how did they do? They won, right?
No, they should have. They tied fucking Crystal
Uh,
because fucking bullshit ass goal. But
ah, yes.
yeah.
I'm recalling this now in the group text. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't know how Villa was plus 125 against Burnley. That was fucking stupid. And I think that's going to be my go-to now. It's just finding teams that should definitely be favored, but are somehow still like plus money or close to it. Speak of the devil, Arsenal. Sean, how we feeling? Minus 125 against United. There's some
Uh,
cheeks over in United right now.
yeah. I think both they're struggling to find a way to put goals in the back of the net here and conceding bad opportunities. Just all three games. They have 6 points through three games here, and it's just crushing, time on attack, but not really getting great chances. And then one stupid mistake is leading to giving up a chance. They tied Fulham and it just fell all like a loss there. But this is the first time they're really getting tested. Hopefully they kind of get up for it. I mean, you'd hope they win. Certainly, they're the more talented team than Man United. I mean, it took Man United a pretty good showing the second half just to come back and beat Forest there.
Yeah.
It's at the Emirates, so I think Arteta kind of gets them together and hopefully kind of step on their throat a little bit. Maybe a couple goal win, put the pressure on, maybe a nice PK or something. I mean, maybe we'll play Saka, a goal scorer. He had goals in each of the Man U games last year. He's come out looking great so far to start this year. So might look at that.
And that is at the Emirates. So that's big.
Yes.
That is big. I don't even want to get into it too much because Villa's playing Liverpool at Liverpool. I don't feel great about it, but we are rolling plus 360.
You guys are fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the let's see. I'm trying to find where's the goals? Oh man. Over 3.5 goals is plus 110, under is minus 140. So they're gonna
Liverpool, same thing. Liverpool, they can't stop anyone, but they can score with everyone.
I mean, minus 240 for over 2.5. And usually that's like a pretty good line in general. And that's like a -7 in football. It's like the same shit. It's like, all right, like 2.5, that's, you can go either way. And it's minus 240, so I don't like that. They don't have any plays, but I could see it being a 2-2, 3-2. I think it's going to be a very high scoring game. So I will still go over that 3.5. I think it's 4 goals or more, plus 110. So that'll be my only play of that game. But I don't feel super confident on the money line. So we'll see how it all pans out. We already got 2 injuries. We already lost Buendia and fucking Tyrone Mings pretty much for the season. So I don't know. We're gonna be 10-ish range and hope that we can maybe make a Europa Conference League. But Max, I am loving this minus 140 Brentford. How are we feeling?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna absolutely hammer that. I was looking at it because I was looking at while y'all were going. I can't find just a normal goal score, but if I go to same game, I can find it.
Interesting.
Kevin Shada scored his first Brentford goal last game against Palace. He's only had probably like 20 games with us or so. He hasn't had too much, but that was his first goal. He's a left winger. I think that's just the start. I think that kind of opens up the book for him. No Tony, that's another reason why he's going to be getting more options. I don't hate he's at plus 210 inside the same game. So that's something to look out for. I really just want to do him solo and then do like money line solo.
Yeah, that's fair.
When that comes out, it's only Tuesday, so it'll probably be out like Thursday. I might bring it back up again just to see what the other odds are. But yeah, dude, it's fucking Bournemouth, dude. We're gonna beat the fucking shit dick out of them. Shouldn't have tied against Palace, and I think, yeah, we're just it's an easy. I'm surprised it's not like minus 200 to be honest. I know why it's not because we don't have Tony, but they kept bringing that up last game. I was like, "Fuck you."
I know. I mean, so is he just done for the
Do you think he's
season?
listening to this right now, Max?
So he's gone until like January or February, I think. What'd you say, Sean?
No, I was making a betting joke. Go ahead.
He probably. I don't know, but I guess we don't have to. I won't go too much, but he was in a recent interview and was saying like Brentford, like is always like pretty much. I'll just paraphrase. Brentford's always like his home and will have a place in his heart, but it's hard not to go to like Liverpool or Arsenal. He grew up. I think I might have sent it in the chat. I might have forgot, but he grew up like an Arsenal. Like he always loved the way Arsenal played and all that. So like he can't pass up that opportunity, and so pretty much
I heard that in a pod as well. Then that they might, at least, and they've done pretty good business with Brentford before. Maybe somebody because he's due. He can come back in January.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah. So
That makes sense.
he's like pretty much he's like, why wouldn't I try to go get a title? Like, but he was also like Brentford's like my home, and so it was hard. But I was like, whatever. I don't blame him, dude. He's like Grealish leaving Villa. Like, why wouldn't he?
I mean, he got paid. Grealish is getting paid out the butt, and I mean, those calves belonged over with Pep. Like, if we're being cheese, the guy doesn't even have to start, and he's gonna get like he. I mean, he did. He didn't even start, and he got a treble. I mean, come on, how the fuck could
He did start. He started.
No, he started. He didn't start every
He
game.
got in Pep's good grade. Hey, what's wrong with Pep? I saw you to get some like emergency surgery.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna be out for like the month.
Damn. I did not see that.
Yeah, best wishes to Pep. Fuck City.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're on top they're 2 ahead already, but look at little West Ham. They're rolling right now, man. They're a fun team to watch too.
Fucking shit out of Brighton last week.
Yeah, and all Brighton had done before was like score like 3 and then 4 goals.
Yep. They lost what's his name? Caicedo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But geez, I mean, yeah, 3-1. They beat Chelsea 3-1. Chelsea's butt cheeks too.
I didn't want to say it.
I'll say it. I mean, dude, they got all the money in the goddamn world. And the only guy that scores for Chelsea against West Ham is a dude who just got there from Villa, Carney Chukwuemeka. So I don't know. I do like Antonio. Mikel Antonio's he's on my fantasy team, so I'm pumped about that. But I mean, West Ham's rolling. I don't know. Well, I mean, we got a lot of ball games here, fellas. We got 35 more weeks. So I think we got plenty of time to let it all shake out. Any other EPL? I know I'm trying to see if there's anything worth looking at.
No, I just got one more comment, and I was telling my buddy Pat, who's a big Chelsea guy, so that's why I said I didn't want to comment on how bad they are. But I am all in on the EPL and Brentford. Like I'm gonna be all in. I got I'm rooting for Brentford way harder than I'm rooting for the West Virginia Mountaineers football team, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, it's going Bears, Notre Dame, Brentford. Like, I'm all in right now. It's crazy to say, but I love it, and I love the bees.
Up the bees.
Up the bees.
Bees,
Let's get
baby.
it. One other thing, as we were talking about West Ham, -125 against Luton Town. Might be worth a little bet.
Minus 125.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think anyone to just outright win against old Luton Town is probably just do that until it loses.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, what?
I'm gonna say the same with Tottenham versus Burnley. Tottenham is -115. So just for the sake of it, I mean Tottenham West Ham, you'd be done by noon on Saturday, just in time to lock in that profit for some noon Saturday games at +236. I like that a lot. I like the Brentford one. I also like Newcastle +160 over Brighton.
I like Newcastle a lot. I think they're a really tough team to play against. They're also a good under team as well. Lockdown defense.
I'm trying to find the double chance. Not really worth it. Tire Newcastle's -205. So that's a little wee bit too much. Yeah, that's a good parlay. I don't mind parlaying that with something. What'd you say?
Nothing. Whatever. What's the full name? It's like Upon Tire. Those just silly British things.
A palm tire.
Like Upon Tire Newcastle.
Oh, upon
Or
yeah.
Newcastle Upon Tire.
Hey, you've been there. I haven't. I don't know.
I haven't been to Newcastle, but yeah, they got some silly things going on over there.
I have not been across the pond, so nope. And
Shout out
then
Birmingham. Shout out Birmingham and Villa.
yes,
Good
yes.
people.
Place to be. Last thing, for Grayson's sake, I'll say it. Crystal Palace -110 over the Wolves. Wolves have been poopy. I only know that because the two guys on my fantasy team haven't scored, so or done anything. I've got 0 points from them every week. So we're looking at dropping them. I got fantasy football, I got college fantasy football, I got betting, and then I got this EPL fantasy league. I'm doing my best, but I can't keep up, man. It's tough. And all of a sudden, someone's playing on Wednesday, and I'm like, why the fuck are you guys playing on Wednesday? It's supposed to be a Saturday, Sunday thing, but a little beside the point. That's all I have for EPL. I mean, we basically went through 90% of the games. So
Yeah.
that wasn't, we weren't even supposed to go over that, and we just did.
Oh,
So,
that was all improv.
yep, very improv. Go us. All right. Looking at what we've got left. Let's get into it. Let's get into the bread and butter. The reason we are still potting a year later. It's our bread and butter. It's football. It's the National Football League. And we have the last two divisions to wrap up here. We're going to do our previews. Like we said earlier, we're going to the North, AFC North, NFC North. We've got resident experts, fans of, I don't know, 20 plus years. Max, I mean, you were in a Bears jersey probably around 20 years ago. I'm sure even before that. Sean and I, the old geezers over here, we've been fans longer than you've been alive. I mean, like 5, right? So maybe I'm the old guy here. But let's start out with our guest. Let's start out with Sean. Let's just go AFC North. Let's just get the full Steelers spiel. I've got like the winning odds. I've got wins schedule. I can go into any way, but without getting into every single bet that you want on the Steelers, what's like, just give it to us.
Yeah,
What do you?
I think it's like, what's our cliff notes coming into the year on the Steelers and on the AFC North. And you didn't do the homework last night, and class starts in 3 minutes, and you get that, oh shit, just what are the couple bullet points I need to know? I think number one, this team, finished the year as hot and good momentum as any other team did. I think so, carrying that into the new year. is pretty important. It's a young team, but it's all kind of the same core there. I won't be the guy to tell you how good Kenny Pickett's preseason one, or if that matters. I'll leave that up to other people. But I think if fans are looking at the team, looks for him to take another step there. The defense, hopefully is healthy. TJ Watt, members suffered that kind of pec tear in week 1 of last year. That was brutal for them. But they still ended up getting to 9 wins, which gets to bullet point number 2. Mike Tomlin teams always go 500. So I think the over under, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's at 8.5. It's a little heavy on the over there. Probably at like minus 140 or something like that.
Yep,
but
exactly.
And a win is a win there. And the third bullet point, I would just say, look out for the not big names. By this point, of course, anyone has a Twitter, you see George Pickens highlights, Deontay Johnson, who've been a pretty good fantasy player here. Najee's big name all the way back from college. Allen Robinson comes over, joined the team, but look out for playing like, I don't know if it's kind of maybe looking at like a yards, or just as we get into the season, look and see little, what the kind of maybe total yards are on Calvin Austin. This is a kind of slot wide receiver they got from Memphis in the draft last year. Didn't play any games because of injury. He's come back. It looks 100%. Frankly, they've been using him in the preseason, got a couple go balls, by far and away the fastest guy on their team there. So, I'd look out for overplays on Calvin Austin this year, and Jaylen Warren too. I think it'll get closer to more like 60-40 use of Najee and Jaylen, more than like an 80-20 that it was last year.
Okay.
I like that.
I'm pretty bullish on the Steelers this year. I think they're going to play a lot of teams tough. Does that mean they're going to, win 12, 13 games? No, certainly it doesn't. I think the AFC North is not probably like cumulative the best division in football, but I think in terms of like the strength from 1 to 4 is one of the tough there. I don't think even the Browns are that bad of a team, especially if we see the Deshaun Watson, bad guy. But if he plays at all like he did, back on the Texans, you'd expect him to play pretty well there. Still think the Bengals are by far and away the team to beat there. We'll have to check on Burrow's health here, but I think all signs are that he'll be all right come the start of the season. Ravens are always kind of interesting, but they'll imagine with a healthy Lamar, which he probably won't play all 16 or 17 games. He usually doesn't, but I think it would probably go Bengals and then some sort of Steelers or Ravens at 2 or 3, and then probably the Brownies in the last there. But I still think the Brownies will win, maybe 7 or 8 games.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, as long as Watson can play well, back to his old days, I'm sure they'll be pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm looking. So I'll just run through. I'll just start with the winner odds. So just outright winner of the division. Cincinnati leads at plus 150. Baltimore follows at plus 235. I think I'm also in agreement with you guys on who comes in last, but based on the odds, and I will just double check and confirm, but I'll read them out. Pittsburgh is at the bottom at plus 480, and Cleveland at plus 350, but I feel like there might have been some change. So I'm just double checking that my math is mathing. No, Pittsburgh's at plus 500 and Cleveland's at plus 400 now since I last. So changed a little bit, but I agree. I think Cleveland, I think Cleveland's, so I think the best bet, if we're talking about the wins totals, when we're talking about these 4 teams, I think the best bet I like is Cleveland under 9.5 wins. And that is minus 135. Smidge of some juice. I fucking love it. I think they could, at most, I think they win 9 games. I think realistically they win 7 or 8. I think Steelers are literally right at that 8, 9, maybe 10, depending on how the defense is. I think the offense should be solid, but I feel like the defense is going to be kind of what what kind of comes up for you guys and what's really the difference maker there. But I think the Cleveland under, I mean, under 9.5 for -135. I fucking love that. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, I definitely love that.
Yeah. I mean, so
It's not
Pittsburgh, like you said,
it's not like they have like a Cardinals or anything in their division to pick off, a couple quick ones.
well, so for example, too, even so the only thing I'll say is looking at Cleveland's schedule. You obviously have the six in the division. The way the AFC North schedule breaks out, they play all the NFC West teams, they play all the AFC South teams, and then they kind of split it up. But for Cleveland's sake, they play New England, Chicago, and Vegas as their other like three non-division. Those are the three last games there. I think they're home against New England. I don't think that matters. I think the Bears can win that too. I think Vegas they can maybe beat. I bet you that game is like fucking 17-13 on like a Thursday night. I don't even know when it is, but that's got to be a Thursday night, all orange, and then
Josh
all
Jacobs
black.
and
I mean, that's a
Chubb.
Halloween Thursday game, is that not?
Oh, that would be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, orange and black, all
Silver
orange,
and
all
then
black.
they're all orange. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, I don't think Cleveland wins 9. And NFC West, you can argue, isn't a great division, but I still think, you got the Niners. I think the Seahawks can beat the Browns. I don't know about the Rams, and I don't know about the Actually, I know the Cardinals can't beat them. But that's because they're not going to be able to stop Nick Chubb, and it's not going to be a high scoring game either way. But yeah, I think that one. I do like Pittsburgh I think they're 8 or 9, so that's why that -140 kills me, just in case. But I think it's more. I was doing some research, and basically for Baltimore, Cincinnati, I think both of them are right in that 9 range. But if they can sweep like Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's the key in this entire division. I don't necessarily think Pittsburgh's going to win the division, but I think um if Baltimore or Cincinnati can't, like, if Pittsburgh sweeps them, either one of those teams, I think the opposite team wins the division. Like I think if the Steelers can beat Baltimore both games, I think that's just enough to get Cincy to win the division. Cincy, I'll just read out the last two odds since I've already read the other ones, but Cincy's over under is 10.5. Over is -130, under is +110, and then the Ravens over under is 10.5 as well, +100 for the over and -120 for the under. And I'm torn between Baltimore and Cincinnati. I will probably not play any futures with the winner of this division, but it really does. I think it does hinge on how good Pittsburgh can be and whether they can sweep either of those two and kind of knock those pegs down.
Yeah, I wonder if the reason those both seem kind of low is just because there isn't a lot of sweeps in this division. You will get, Pittsburgh picks off Cincinnati. They haven't they've gone 1-1 with them for I think 5 straight years. They've gone 1-1 with the Ravens for as many straight years. Look, in the last few years they've lost one to Baltimore, but they have a pretty good record, against Baltimore during the Roethlisberger's year. But really, just goes to say that you kind of it's a new week every time. You might have done well against one division foe and that week and come back and get your ass kicked the next.
Yep. And if you look at it, so to break out the other Baltimore Cincy, the schedules are essentially the same, but Baltimore has Miami, Detroit, and the Chargers as their 3 kind of non-related games, and then Cincinnati has the Bills, the Vikings, and the Chiefs. And so I think that could potentially be the difference. And not to say that Baltimore, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but that Baltimore-Miami game was fucking nutso last year. So, I mean, you never know there. I think Baltimore can beat Detroit because it's essentially the same team, but I think Baltimore's better at that game than Detroit when it comes to the run game and the ground and pound. I mean, we're talking Harbaugh and Campbell. So I love Campbell, but I think Harbaugh gets that. And then Chargers also going to be a tough game too. So, I mean, they all play the same teams. They could all get the same results, split the division even. And then it just depends on how they do against those 3. And I don't know which one I'd rather be. I mean, Bills, Minnesota, Kansas City sounds terrible, and so does Miami, Detroit, and the Chargers. Like I think I'd take the Miami, Detroit Chargers, but you never know. You never know with Lamar either, man. I mean, I've had him in fantasy the last 2 years, and I just traded him away because I'm tired of him sitting out the playoff weeks of fantasy. But that's just like a bullshit sourpuss owner perspective. But
Yeah, you gotta get the
yeah,
average quarterbacks that will still play.
yeah, right. I mean, Jesus. Lamar
Justin
was like,
Herbert is a great one because they're always gonna be fighting for a
oh
spot.
yeah.
He's always gonna be playing. He's not gonna be
I mean,
sitting out last week.
right. Yeah, the Chargers are perennial nine. They used to be 9-6 before we added the extra game, but now they're just going to be a perennial 9-7 team that can't decide if they want 10 wins or 9 wins and whether they want the playoffs or not. They can't make a decision, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't want that. So yeah, I agree. I agree with y'all there. I've, I've got some player props up, but I've been talking a lot. So anyone want any Max? You got anything to say on the division?
I got a pretty, I got a pretty solid ending to this division. Well, I guess just the winner to the division. Donnie, my buddy, he would kill me if I didn't mention this. And maybe it's just been him kind of just fucking digging into my brain about it. I like, yeah, you got Cincy plus 150 and Ravens plus 235. Donnie is a Ravens fan, by the way, for those who don't know. Like you should probably be scared about the Ravens. Like if they do stay healthy, like they are very, very scary. Um, I don't, I won't probably won't bet them to win it, but I can see myself regretting it in the end of the season, being like, they were plus 235. I could have easily just put a couple units on it and just chilled. I do think Lamar I mean, he's a fucking top quarterback. He did have some injuries. He has injury history, but I just think that Ravens are going to be very sneaky.
No,
So,
I agree. That was if I had to gun to my head, that's who I would pick for the division. And I think that is a good point. And I also think Burrow's health maybe. Just he's gonna miss a couple games, right? Or is he good to play? I don't know what the deal is.
I
Is
don't
he
think it was a bad.
I'll let them be known. I have the Bengals winning the division.
okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big if, Max. That team
Oh yeah,
has not shown a good track record of being healthy there. When of course their roster, you play the guy, the guy test, and then they have a ton of big names and stuff. But that they're going to need Zay Flowers to just be a dude right off the bat, which it's getting easier for these rookie wide receivers to step in, but it's this is not the same OBJ that
Yeah.
we saw years ago. J.K. Dobbins is probably certainly not 100%, or at least J.K. Dobbins before all these injuries there. Ted Monken, a whole new OC. I think Ravens fans would like to think that's a big plus, but Ted Monken hasn't. I mean, he's been in college. I mean, he's been killing it at Georgia on SEC defenses. But this is the NFL. This is a little bit different, and that might take a little bit of time getting used to there. So, I'm not trying to be Ravens hater by any means, but I do still
Oh
think
yeah.
I wouldn't blame. Like, no, I don't blame you, but I know you're not trying to be like biased, so I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
No, those
mean,
are all great. They're
I
all
mean, if you had
absolutely
to get rid of
points.
one team in the division, it would be the Baltimore Ravens. I
oh, of
know.
course,
Yeah, exactly. I've
they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Sean, I see a 2 on one shoulder. And it looks like a 9. Is that a good old James Harrison?
Yes, good call.
Nice.
That is a
Love
James Harrison, and I know you didn't even mean to do this, but you just perfectly queued up. If you don't mind, I'll give you my one player prop before tossing it over to you guys.
Oh,
Ooh.
absolutely. Let's go.
So Max, you are a guy. I know you like defense. I know you like sacks. Sam wouldn't know much about that with the Packers. But we like sacks here. So that means we're probably going with the guy who had 22 and a half sacks a couple years ago, TJ Watt, right? Wrong.
What?
No, we are going with the Robin to the Batman here. I'm going with the man out of UNC Charlotte, Alex Highsmith. Quietly 14 and a half sacks last year. And I know, he's going to do well. He plays off of TJ. Well, sure, yeah, absolutely, that helps him. But he is an absolute dog in himself. He has great moves. He knows how to get to the quarterback. He's going to just, of course, get some of those sacks that as Watt and guys and Hayward push people to his end. He just happens to get more favorable matchups here. I'll take a few sacks off of last year just because he played a bunch without TJ Watt, so he was kind of the main guy there. So even if we take off, 2 or 3 sacks off that 14 and a half number from last year, all we need to do is get over 9.75, which is plus 110. So give me Alex Highsmith over 9.75 sacks this year.
That was my
Okay.
question to ask Sean. It's literally just a question mark. That was an ask Sean question. So thank you for answering that, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, this was one of the few divisions that I was like, I need to make a conscious effort when I'm going through player props to look at the defensive ones.
Oh yeah, some really good ones here. I don't know if they do a straight just tackles one, but like Roquan, is going to absolutely rack up tackles in the middle of that Ravens defense.
They do combined tackles, yeah.
That's a lot, but
He's at just since
he might get like 160.
155 and a half for combined tackles, Roquan, plus 100.
I mean, if he stays healthy, I think he gets like 100.
Yeah, are you looking up the stat, like his recents? I'm sure, dude. I think he's had like 210. Like,
trying to do
I'll look at that if you want to get to the. So of course, the year he played all 17 games, he had 163.
Damn.
He had 86 in 9 games last year, so the pace was there.
Yeah.
Yo, absolutely, yeah. No, he's a fucking dog, dude. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. I forget about it. Who cares?
No, I like that a lot. All right, well, shit. I'm gonna Max. Before I just fire shit off, is there any props that you want to highlight here?
No, I think I'm good. Sorry, I got a few for next.
Okay. Let me fire off. Let me get any Stillers ones. Wanted your opinion on this one, Sean. I have a grade mark, so I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Najee over 975 and a half rushing yards at minus 105.
I would say that's
close.
That's very appropriately put. He did go over 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 seasons. But one, no fault of his own, just the way the NFL is played now. He'll continue to kind of lose touches. There's maybe 5 like legit real workhorse running backs out there. And just the rise of Jaylen Warren. He's played very well there. Now the offensive line is leaps and bounds better than what it was his rookie year. So hopefully his just running average goes up, which has been pretty mediocre. Like he's gotten over 1,000 yards, but he's also been way up there in rushing attempts too. I think, Sam, you have it put pretty well there as I wouldn't put it on your upper queue of bets to take there. I do think he will eclipse it just because he'll probably get enough carries as long as he goes like a 3.7 average to get over that, even if it's just over 1,000. But it's, I don't put a huge stamp of approval.
Fair. Now let me fire up 2 more. I have a question mark. So I'd say question mark is in between an and a love. And I just need some reassurance from my Steeler boy. And then the other one is an So the question mark, Pickens over 750 and a half receiving yards.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Say,
Question mark.
let's say 820 to 920 range feels pretty good for him.
Yeah. And then that being said, Deontay over 825.5 receiving yards, minus 105. And that was my
Yeah, that's where it's tough because he's spread around. I think Freiermuth, if healthy, has a better year this year. Allen Robinson will get some yards there. Yeah, I would take the Pickens, stay away from the Deontay. I think it's very possible they both could go over, but
So close. It's hard.
It's tough.
Okay. Let's see. I just got some stars, ones I really like. We'll start with the Browns. I think Watson over 3,650.5 passing yards at minus 120 feels pretty safe. I think he's probably, I don't know if he touches 4,000, but I think they're going to be behind enough in some games. So I think I like that a lot. The other one I like for the Browns is Nick. This is kind of funny because I'm talking about being down in games and Watson going over. But Nick Chubb, 1225.5 rushing yards at minus 110. I think they're going to feed him as much as humanly possible. They don't have Kareem Hunt anymore. I like Jerome Ford as a potential kind of sleeper. Maybe add if Chubb gets hurt, but I think he goes over the 1225. I think he's in that 13 to 14 range. I don't think he tops 14, but I think he could be up in that range given the carries. I feel like they're just going to be a ground and pound team.
You know that in 5 years, Chubb has never averaged under 5 yards a carry, like in his season.
That's insane. That doesn't shock me, but that's also an insane stat.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's almost like he's getting the ball half the time in Cleveland too. So I don't get it, but yeah. So I like those. Let's go over to the Baltimore. I only have one that I like from Baltimore. I think we talked about it. They're going to spread it around. I don't trust injuries, but what I do trust is Lamar going over 725.5 rushing yards, minus 110. That's probably my favorite play out of this division. I mean, dude, he's for sure, unless he gets hurt, and that's really all that's all this prop is banking on. And I'm imagining they're banking on him maybe sitting a game or two or being hurt for a game or two, and he's still going to clear 726. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, that probably was calculated with him playing like 15.
Right. Like probably sit out the last game of the season and then maybe even banged up a little bit in week 15. I don't know who they have. If they have the Steelers, those dirty motherfuckers, they're going to try and come at some kneecaps and shit. Last 3 bets I have, and it's kind of it's one person, it's 2 people, but one person's getting 2 bets, and that's Mr. Jamar Chase. Mr. Jamar Chase going over 95.5 receptions this year at minus 110. And Jamar Chase going over 1,275.5 receiving yards at minus 115. I think he's going to get 100 catches easily. Probably get more than 100 catches. He'll get 100, and he's definitely going to have over 1275.5. He's going to be in that 14 range. I think it's going to be him and Jefferson, which we'll get to, but I think him and Jefferson are going to be kind of in that 1,400 range for receiving, which is fucking disgusting. But yeah. Last, but certainly not least, Mr. T. Higgins being number 2 option for the Bengals does not mean he's not getting catches, but he's definitely getting over 70.5 receptions at minus 130. A little bit of juice, but if you could parlay that with I don't even know how they do parlays and DraftKings with player props. They might not even let you do that, but if they do, you could just parlay that with Chase over 95.5 receptions. I like that. I think Chase will get over 1275, so you just parlay one of those 2 with it, or Lamar rushing and just call it a day. But yeah, I wrote down a bunch more. I'm not going to read them out because I don't really like them. So
no, I like it. Good stuff.
Gotta come with options. I think the big thing with what I'll say is on the Chase Higgins stuff is that you might be able to take advantage of some odds now before the season starts because they just don't necessarily know what's going on with Burrow. Burrow comes back, he's fully healthy, and he doesn't miss a game. I don't think any of
Those go
those
up.
miss. I think every single one fucking hits.
What was your number again on the Lamar rushing?
725.5.
All right. So each of the last 2 years, he's only played 12 games and he's had eclipsed 760 yards in each of them. When he's played 15 games, he had over 1,000 yards.
Boom. That will be.
I think that's maybe, of course, again, he's had some injury problems and maybe new offense, not rushing as much. Either way, that's pretty low.
I do hear that they're looking to pass a little bit more this year, but I mean, given the weapons,
yeah, his best asset is that he can just run all over the field.
Yep, exactly. And it'll be good because you got Andrews, OBJ, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. I mean, they're going to be.
You got a bunch of mid.
Yeah, bunch of dogs. So yeah. Any other AFC North before we move to the National Football Conference?
Kick it over.
Okay, well, I think we should start with the man who has the most promise here out of the division. The man whose birthday is today, if you're listening still, at this point on Wednesday. The man wearing the number 1 jersey with the old school 1985 looking Bears hat, with the number 1. Haven't had a quarterback like this since I don't actually fucking remember. I genuinely, I don't even think my dad remembers. I don't think. Yeah, look at that. That is throwback right there.
Might have been Grandpa's hat, or Dad's childhood hat. I don't know.
Yeah, the clean ass. That's probably from 1985. We'll say it's from 1985 for the sake of it. But Max comes correct to the pod. Talk to us about Justin Fields. Talk to us about the Bears' outlook. I mean, yes, I'm wearing the G on my side and not the C, but you know where I stand. Fuck the Vikings. Fuck the Lions. Let's go Bears. We are a weird, fucked up family. For anyone listening who doesn't understand, I'm not even going to explain it. If you know, you know. You don't, you don't. Exactly. Max has a cheese logo on his arm, so that's how fucking fucked our family is. But without further ado, Max, how hyped are you for this season? Because it's been a while, and I think you deserve the floor.
Yeah, I won't go too in depth or go too long. I will say I haven't looked at what our wins are or win total is. So when I first hear you say it, I'm going to be very shocked. Or happy, whatever. But I'm gonna be pretty realistic here. I'm not gonna go crazy. I would love to have I've seen some crazy shit, and I think most of it's troll, but it's like a 12-5 season for the Bears and all this shit. I'm probably not expecting more than 9 wins, if I'm gonna be honest. But obviously, I don't think 9 wins compared to 3 is an absolute huge step. I mean, we've brought on DJ Moore. We've stacked up our O-line. Tevin Jenkins fucking tore both calves or something, so that dude's pissing me off. But Wright has been looking great. Our rookie that we drafted in the first round, he's been looking absolutely fantastic during training camp. I think we've done enough and gotten Justin Fields a good amount of stuff and that he can work with. Darnell Mooney as a number 2, I think will be fantastic. He's not a true number 1, and I know that, and everyone knows that. But I think we're gonna be. I'll say, and I've said it before: 4 straight games, 4 straight losses, averaging 35 or more points. With a complete pretty goddamn shit teams. So that was last year. This year we've gotten the weapons. Everyone's back. Cole Kmet had a fantastic last 6 games of the season, maybe 7, whatever. But Cole Kmet really stepped up towards the end of the year. The one thing I'm worried about is our front line. Not really linebackers. We gained Tremaine Edmonds. He's fantastic. TJ Edwards, another fucking dog. Our linebacker core has been ranked number 1 through many people. And those are legit sources. That's like PFF or PPF, whatever.
Matt, I want to, or excuse me, I want to let you know that I drafted both middle linebackers in the Bears in my IDP league.
I love it, dude. I mean, why the fuck not? Our linebacking core is perfect. Secondary is also probably, I'll just say top 10. Our secondary is very good. Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon,
Yep.
Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson. We look fantastic. Our line is really bad. So yeah, I like Spider-Man moves. Yeah. So but
Sick.
our fucking
Sick.
line's really bad. Our line is really, really bad. So very scared about the run stop. Last year it was kind of like last year in the 2 years it was like our secondary sucks dick. But this year I'm like the run game's gonna fuck us. So very scared about that. Overall, like I said, I'm gonna guess we're probably 7.5 wins. I'd put us personally, yeah, like 8 or 9 wins. Maybe sneak into a wild card if we can, but we'll see. I'm being realist. I would love a 12-5, but
Oh God.
I think Justin Fields is gonna have a way better year, but that doesn't say anything if our defense can't fucking stop people like last year. We lost so many games just off 2-minute drives and they just get a field goal to win or a touchdown to win and just lost like 5 games that way. So the defense really needs to step up.
So here's what I think helps so I'll just tell you because you've been talking about it so you can make a decision. But over or under is 7.5. Over is -130, under is +110. I'll let you think on that for a second while I read out the schedule. Division 6, obviously. NFC South. So each team in the NFC North plays the NFC South. That is Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. AFC West, which is obviously probably one of the toughest divisions potentially. But luckily Denver and Vegas are not the same, not what we necessarily expected last year. So maybe a little bit easier, but Kansas City, LA Chargers are going to be tough. And then for your Bears, they have Arizona, Cleveland, and Washington as their other 3. So I think that they can probably go, I think they probably split somewhere. They'll probably win 2 or 3 division games, maybe 4, maybe more. And then I think they can beat Carolina. I think they can beat Tampa Bay. I think they can beat everyone potentially in the NFC South. And then AFC West, they should beat Denver. They should beat. So, I don't know the math on that, but that sounds like that's over more than 8 wins. And that's not even including Arizona, Cleveland, and Washington. So I think I like the over 7.5. I think they're like 8-9. I don't think they necessarily go more than 9, but I think they're right there.
There's a possibility of going 10, which would push us playoffs, but yeah. I'm sitting 8 and 9 as well. Like I said, I think Fields is still going to have a fantastic fucking year. He's going to have a better line. So I'm just not getting my hopes up as a Bears fan. And any Bears fans that I don't think we have any listening, but, well, maybe our cousins and stuff, but they know where I'm feeling. It's just we're not going to get our hopes up. So we're just chilling. Grayson, maybe he might be listening and for the Bears, I know. So we're just going with the flow.
Ooh. So I'll read out the odds real quick because they changed a smidge. I was trying to see if maybe the 3 of us could bet which team would be the best, have the most wins, because we're all pretty close. I think, let me see what did Pittsburgh have? Did they have 7.5 as well?
8.5.
8.5. So both the Packers and the Bears are at 7.5, and then the Steelers are at 8.5. Both of us, Bears are plus 380 to win the division. Steelers are plus 500, and the Packers are plus 400. We might need to make a little here between the 3 of us and see which team's gonna have the most wins this year. So maybe we'll talk more as before the season comes up. We'll let you guys know what the bet is. I think that's a good season-long bet, and I think this is probably as even as we've ever been. If we'll be completely honest, like
Yeah, for real.
Steelers have been fucking nasty for certain years. The Packers have been nasty. The Bears have been nasty when the Packers and the Steelers aren't. So like I feel like there's a lot of this could be a good, nice season long bet. So we'll talk more on that. But yeah, Bears 7.5 minus 130 over under 110. Packers over 7.5 is minus 120 under plus 100. So basically the same odds, but very close. The other one, which I'll get to in a sec, but Detroit over under 9.5 minus 120 is the over, under plus 100. More importantly, the 13 win Minnesota Vikings from last year, over under is 8.5, and it's even at minus 110. And I think that's kind of insane because if I'll be honest with you, looking at the odds, Minnesota plus 275 to win the division over plus 140 with Detroit. I don't know, man. I think I like Minnesota at plus 275 if I had to pick.
Yeah, I don't know why
That wasn't the Packers. Yeah, right. I think. Look, as someone who's beat up on Detroit many a times, not me personally, but my team. I'm an owner, so I can say we. But Detroit has been our little brother for as long as I've been alive. And I'm not to say that they can't win the division, but I think next year might be the year for them. I think this year might be the year where they win. I think they could win 9-10 games, but I just don't see them I think they're better, but I don't think that Minnesota is getting the credit that they should given last year. And I think the Bears, I think they only won 2 games last year. They added a bunch of guys, but for people the 3 games, but for them to go up to like 9-10 wins it's a big ask. You're asking 6 wins, and the Packers will drop off. So
didn't the Vikings win like 10 straight games at one point last year?
Yeah, something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah. I think the Bears, certainly they're going to win more games this year. The Packers, are still going to play well, but it could be tougher games for them. The Lions, like we talked about, I think now they're on everyone's radar. They're not sneaking up on anyone. So, I think it makes I still would lean the Vikings certainly far and away as the winner of this division.
And I don't know. I went to look and I was like, other than Dalvin, like what are they really missing? I'll be completely honest with you. I think the Jordan Addison ad washes out the Dalvin Cook difference between Dalvin and Madison.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's what
I don't think they let Dalvin Cook out of that building if they don't truly think that Madison can just give them what they want out of the run game.
Yep. Which he did. He did pretty fucking well last year.
I think they lost like a dude or 2 on defense, but I don't necessarily know that that's a huge difference. Did they lose Kendricks?
Well, it's Kendricks and I think Griffin. Griffin might have even been gone last year too, but no, with Addison, they lost Thielen on offense, so Addison's another replacement for him. So I think Addison and Jefferson might just be fucking nuts. That's going to be
they added Marcus Davenport, linebacker, and Jordan Hicks.
Okay,
and Byron. They added Byron Murphy too from the Cardinals.
Okay.
I mean, Danielle Hunter's still there.
Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw. That's a pretty good tackle right there.
Yeah.
It's also that's the Sean tackle group, Pitt and Virginia Tech.
Yes. Shout out Sean. Lewis Seen and Harrison Smith in the safeties.
Lewis Seen from
Georgia.
Yes.
Harrison Smith from.
Real quick, Max, this was baseball podcast, but Trevor Plouffe was talking about back in his heyday with the Twins that Harrison Smith was his favorite football player to go out and grab drinks with. So that was a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the man. I thought I was gonna use him. I was gonna name him as someone who I thought was retired, and they just lost him. But I guess he's back for more.
I
So
don't think he'll ever retire.
I honestly was gonna say Harrison Smith, and then I thought you guys were like, no, he retired. So
34.
crazy.
still chilling. I mean, he's still fucking. He's dirty.
Yeah, 5 interceptions last year.
Yeah, dude. He's rolling.
He's not letting up. No, I like that. I'll be honest, like looking at Notre Dame or the Green Bay schedule. I don't hate it. I mean, they got the Rams, Giants, and Pittsburgh as their like 3 kind of non, assigned teams matchups. I think they can beat the Rams, Giants. I think it's at the Giants, and I don't know. I maybe, and then Pittsburgh toss up. I mean, I guess I'll just get into the Green Bay bag right now.
Who's yours?
It's gonna be weird, man. I guess here, if anyone got any questions about the pack, and then I'll just go on.
I don't have a question. I have a statement.
Okay,
quick.
Yeah.
Over 7.5 wins. Hammering it.
Hammering that. I agree.
Hammering that.
Yes, hammering them. Max?
I will say you will do better, but I feel like you guys are you're kind of where we were last year, but way better set up. So, like Jordan's first full year starting. So it's going to be a little rough, but he has way better targets and shit. So I don't expect a crazy season from y'all, but 7.5 is definitely hittable.
I think 8-9.
I think it's going to be weird and saying, I'm sure you're going to get to this. It's going to be very different than what every Packers fan has been used to for probably almost the better half of 2 decades now. This team is going to win games because of their defense, not necessarily because of their offense. You're going to slug out a lot of these 20 to 17 games that just are, lose a year off your life. But I do think Jordan Love will play fine, average football. I think he's going to be better than like a Dennis Ritter, like I think he'll be all right there. They're certainly playmakers, but, I look at if you get everything out of course, the Preston Smith, the Kenny Clark, Quay Walker, Gary, Alexander, goes on and on and on. Like that defense is a bunch of dudes on it. And hopefully they can get their act together and play better than they have the past few years. And I think they will.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the run game's going to be heavy. So, like, you got Jones and Dillon. Offensive line is still solid. Nothing's really changed from last year. They got your boy Sean Yoshi from Tech.
Yeah, I see it looks like he's second right now to some guy named Zach Tom.
Yeah, I was going to say they've been kind of fighting in camp. We got this dude, I think it was left guard. I got to double check. Rasheed Walker. They've been talking very highly on. I don't know if he's a tackle option.
Yeah, he's tackle, looks like.
Okay, because he is really torn up this kind of off season, preseason training camp, all that shit. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Rasheed Walker, so maybe he can kind of make maybe he can make a push for that right tackle. We all know Mr. Bakhtiari, number 69, is going to be our guy at left tackle. John Runyon and Elton Jenkins, great at the guard. Josh Myers is a stud center. So I think our offensive line is going to be enough to kind of support that. I'll tell you what, man, a lot of young guys, a lot of guys I really like on this team to kind of break out. So, like, from a fantasy perspective, Romeo Dobbs, worth a late round pick. I think he could be really good. I can almost personally guarantee that one of you two will be picking up Mr. Jaden Reed at some point. Might just be on a flyer for a week, but this man has been really a great target for Jordan Love. I've been hearing a lot of his good stuff in camp. Rookie from Michigan State. We got him in the 3rd or 2nd round. So looking good there. Tight ends, Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State, who's a rookie, as well as
I want to hear more about Luke Musgrave.
Yep, I was just gonna say he 6'6", 253, 22 years old, a little banged up during college, but at the same time was very productive when he was able to play. A couple tackles and offensive linemen. I think it was Elton Jenkins came out and said that he is somewhat of a Travis Kelce prototype. Uh, I don't know. I mean, in terms of the NFL right now, it doesn't get any better than Travis Kelce. So to have that comparison is pretty big. I think Tucker Kraft is going to be more of our, and I don't like to use this comparison, but just for the sake of a two tight end system, I'll use it. I think Tucker Kraft will serve more as the Gronkowski, and I think that Musgrave will serve more as the Aaron Hernandez. Yes, I understand the politically incorrectness, but anyways, I think the system in that way works because I think Gronk was when they first started before Hernandez left the league. I think Gronk was more of the blocker and then kind of like block and then release. And I think that that's going to be Tucker Kraft's game. I think Musgrave will actually get put in the slot at times. I think he's going to get put out at wide receiver. So I think that he's got a lot to show there. So I'm really looking forward to the tight ends. I think if you watched any, and it sucks because it's not the greatest football, but if you go back to like 2019 or so when you watched LaFleur's offense with the Titans, not the sexiest offense, but they had a lot. They had the two tight ends set up. Delaney Walker was one. Second
Johnny Smith.
Yep, thank you. Johnny Smith was kind of the other one. Johnny Smith probably more the blocker at times. Delaney Walker more the receiver at times, but they were able to kind of intertwine and flip flop. You obviously have the main focus of that offense, and that was Derek fucking Henry. I think if you combine AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, you get Derek Henry. So I think that helps. And then I think Jordan Love's whole thing is to make good throws, but not to force anything. I think this is a big year for LaFleur. I think this is, I mean, I'll give LaFleur next year and this year with Love to give him 2 years. I think that's fair. But if LaFleur's offense isn't able to roll and the defense isn't able to roll come end of next season, I think LaFleur potentially could be on the hot seat because he's only done that well with Mr. Rogers. So it's like, kind of where do you discount that? How do you approach that? But I don't know. I like that. To y'all's point on the defense, I'm trying to see if there's anyone that we didn't already mention. I think Lucas Van Ness, the first rounder from Iowa, I think that's a potential option. I mean, the dude is 6'5", 272, and he's going to be coming off on the pass rush, off the outside, and off the edge. So I like that. Shout out my dude, Rasul Douglas from West Virginia. Guy has been playing really fucking well since he got to Green Bay. He's really carved out a niche for himself. He's kind of that 2/3 corner. He's also good enough to play safety if we need him to. We got rid of Adrian Amos. I don't know if he retired or if he's done, but Rasul Douglas can also play safety. Huh?
I think he's on the Titans or something.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, and I think we're at the point where we didn't want to pay him, and so I don't think we tagged him or anything. I think that was the deal. But Rasul Douglas can also play safety if we need him to. So I think that's huge. I mean, we might. I don't know. I don't know many corners better than Jair Alexander.
You know what? With my smile and my facial expression, can you guess where he's at?
Is he on the Bears?
No, he was already on the Bears.
Yeah.
Where do Green Bay Packers go?
Vikings.
This past year.
You go to the Vikings?
The Jets.
He is on the Jets.
He's on the Jets.
He is on the Jets.
God damn it. Fucking, I thought I was going to be able
Toy Story. Where do cast off Packers go to?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to be able to get through this Packer spiel without a goddamn Aaron Rodgers comment.
You know this. It goes Jets, then to the Vikings, and then they retire.
I hope not.
The Bears are not done seeing Aaron Rodgers.
If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Vikings, we're going to have some real issues on the pod. I might just be done. I might not be able to speak again. God damn. That's depressing. I didn't know that. I mean, aside from that though, Packers defense, I mean, Kenny Clark's gonna head it up on D tackle. I think we're solid there. I think we're gonna be solid. We got Simone Biles, little hubby or fiance or boyfriend, Jonathan.
Some more miles in the
Yeah,
sec-
her like husband, Owens.
Yep, Jonathan Owens. So we got him. So I don't know. Maybe that'll give us some good luck. I'm a little torn, but we shall see. Do we have any player props? Because I mean, I can sit here and talk about the Packers all goddamn day, but
Yeah, I got a quick one. Well, I got two quick ones. I guess technically it's three. All right, I'm sorry. So we mentioned Roquan at plus 100, minus 150 or 155 and a half combined tackles. And I already really liked Aiden Hutchinson's sacks at 10 and a quarter, which is minus 110. So I was thinking about just soloing that, and I was like, well, what if I parlayed Roquan and Aiden? That gets you plus 281. So
okay.
Do we know if you can do that?
Really, yeah. You can parlay Roquan 155 and a half tackles, combined tackles, and then Hutchinson sacks at 10 and a quarter. That's plus 281. And I was like, shit, that is super tasty.
Yeah.
I think Hutchinson's gonna go off.
Sure. Yeah, he's gonna have an awesome career.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that action right now.
And then something I literally already took probably 20 minutes ago was Tremaine Edmonds, 109 and a half combined tackles at minus 110. And yeah, I wrote that one.
Hokies.
So
a lot of Hokie shout outs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're an all right NFL producer, I guess.
Been better NFL producer wins at the college level for sure. I just got Max, do you have any more player props?
No, if you wanted to combine Hutchinson and Edmonds, it's plus 260.
Well, what's your well, actually, never mind. I was going to say about Fields, but he'll be the to score a touchdown each week. We'll get to hear plenty of that.
Yeah, and then Ober rushing yards. Yeah.
Well, speaking of rushing yards, I'm going to go with AJ Dillon's over rushing yards. I believe it was put at is it 670? Is that what it is? 675. He had 770 last year, and frankly, I only feel like the baton is going to go a little bit more his way from Aaron Jones, especially as the year goes on, it gets colder. They got to grind out wins and get, third and twos, things of that nature there. So I like AJ Dillon to have, either the year he had last year or better. And if he does that, he clears that 675 yards total up pretty easily.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, it's super good.
I mean, sure. I'm trying to find Aaron Jones is over 850. I mean, I think no bullshit. I think both of them will probably go over, if I'll be completely honest. Like I feel like I think both are a little too low. I think Jones will probably go. Jones will be a little closer. I think Jones will still go for like close to.
To be fair, I think Pickens and Deontay are going to go both over theirs. Probably at like 900 and 800.
Yep, exactly. So same kind of concept. Like they will both get their, they'll get their fills. Yeah. I mean, Aaron Jones should definitely.
You just don't have, one guy get that big 1,400 year.
Yeah. I really like both of those over. I mean, they should get plenty of fucking carries at that point. Shit, I got a bunch. Aaron Jones, I did write down the over 850. I also wrote down Dillon as well. But my kind of thought was just like, can both of them go over? I think they both can. So I like that. Max, any Justin Fields centric props you like? Because I have a couple, but I want to see what you got first.
No, I honestly haven't looked into it, so let me see what you got.
All right. Well, I got three. I'll give you my first. My is Fields over 2850 passing yards. That's minus 110. I feel like he should be able to throw 3,000, but I kind of have an answer as to why on another prop, but I think his rushing is 800 and a half rushing yards. And so I think he goes well the fuck over that. And that's my play of the division, if I'll be completely honest. Fields, it's same thing with Lamar. Like they're like the odds right now are banking that this guy won't play all of his games. If Justin Fields plays every single game, there's no way he doesn't do 800. He'll probably do 1,000. Just like he did last year.
So he played. He missed 2 games with like rib or something. So he played 15 games. He had 2,200 passing, but 1,100 rushing. So
yeah.
I think he will. I think he'll keep that rushing and probably go. You're right. I'd say like 32, 33 passing.
Yeah. Well, and so his over under passing touchdowns was 18 and a half passing touchdowns, and the over was plus 110, which I also really liked.
317 last year.
Yeah, so he should throw more. He should throw 2 more than that.
At least.
At
He's probably for like 5 more at least.
Yep.
With 8 rushing touchdowns.
Agreed.
So if you look at total, if there's something about like total tutties.
No, I still think over 18 and a half passing still gets it done.
18 and a half passing?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are my fields. The only one I probably won't play will be that passing yards one, 2,800. I don't think it's too much. I think he clears that, but if I'm going to go heavy on his passing touchdowns and yards, I'd rather just do 2 out of the 3 and just do that. I mean, dude, I'll be honest, I start a lot of shit for this division. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity, and I feel like it's because it's so like up for grabs that there's a lot of opportunity there.
Agreed.
Jared Goff over 4,000 passing yards, minus 105. I think he's good there. I think he's probably going to throw for like 42, 4,400 realistically.
Right.
I think 4,000 is pretty doable. The other one, which is another double star, and I'll let my bias show for a second. There is no fucking way that Aaron or Mr. Jordan Love doesn't throw. Did you just hear that? I almost said Aaron Rodgers. Mr. Jordan Love throws for 3,300 yards. It's 3,350 for passing yards plus 125. I think he throws for almost 4,000. Biased completely aside, but you're telling me he can't throw for 3,350 in 16 games? I mean, that's like 250 a game tops.
Yeah, probably lower than that, probably like 240.
Yeah. So I mean plus 125. Get me that. Give me that. I'll give me all the beans. I think the run game's heavy, but I don't know. 3,300 is not that much on a I think he's not gonna run. He's not gonna run for 800 yards. He's not doing that shit. He's not Justin Fields. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not any of those guys. He's gonna throw most of the time, and they're gonna hand the ball off. So I don't know. I just think that Christian Watson they're gonna play a lot of long balls. I think that Love goes well over the 3,350. I think he's closer to 35, 3750. At most probably 4,000, but I don't know. I'm high. Hopes are high there, and obviously bias is involved. Let's see.
Best he threw for was 35-67 at Utah State.
in like 12 games or 11 games, right?
13. Yeah.
13. Yeah. So give me 4.
34.
Yeah, and I think there's some games where
So,
they're gonna have to throw more. Like games they're gonna be going down. Like he's gonna throw for a couple hundred. I don't know. I just unless he gets hurt, I don't really see that happening. Um, yeah, yeah. And I'll couple that with Watson over 825.5 receiving yards. And I'll also couple that with over 62.5 receptions. So I think he goes over 62.5 receptions. He's probably close to 70. I mean, if he's going to be the number one guy, he should get 70 catches. And then 825, I think he reels off a couple long touchdown catches or long just catches that don't end up being touchdowns. And I think he's able to cover that with like 5 of his 70 catches. He can cover 500 of that, with 7 to 15 catches of that. And then the rest will just be short stuff. So I don't know. Those are biased picks, but the one max I have for you is DJ Moore over 800.5 receiving yards and then also over 67.5 receptions.
damn. What's the yards again?
800.5. Oh, sorry, 62.5 receptions. I have bad handwriting.
No, okay. Yeah, that makes me feel a little better. Yeah, dude, I think he can easily get 1,000. Honestly, I know what we just it was kind of contradicting. I guess I was saying what like 33 or something for Fields, but that'd mean a third goes to DJ. But also, I don't see that not being like why wouldn't DJ be his guy and Mooney is also his guy, but I don't know. I think 800 seems pretty right, but also I don't see why not go over.
Yeah, I'm over on both that and the receptions.
But yeah, and receptions.
Yeah, 62.5. I mean, 100%. I don't know.
Yeah.
DJ Morris, I think he's closer to that 7. Like, I think he's about 70 or so. Like, no, yeah, he should. I feel like he should definitely beat that.
Yeah.
All right, I got 2 more wide receiver props, and then I'm done. I promise. Let's circle to the 2 best receivers in the division. We'll start with Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, over under 1050.5 receiving yards, and then over under 95.5 receptions. Both are coin flips at minus 110. Thoughts? I like the over yard. Catches, I don't know.
I was gonna say I might almost like the over catches. He might be a 100 catch guy.
It might be. It might be.
Yeah. I'll go over catches, yeah.
And then the last one, our sweet dear JJ, the Jet, Justin Jefferson. Fuck him, but he is so goddamn good. I can't.
Oh, Amon-Ra so going over 95 catches. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, for sure going over 95 catches.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got over catches and yards. 10 if he catches over 96 if he gets over 96 catches, he should have
Might catch 110 this year.
If he catches 110, he should definitely have 1050.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So we'll lock that.
That'd be like 70 a game.
Yeah. I think you can do that. 8 for 70, right? Oh, more than 8 or less. Oh God. Don't do your math right now. Yeah, don't embarrass yourself. Last one. The JJ, the Jet. Mr. Jefferson, coin flip over under 14.5 or 1,400.5 reception yards. and over under 105.5 catches, both coin flips.
I mean, as long as he's healthy, I think over both. But
yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Man. It's crazy. I don't know why books are doing this for the full season. Do you think they're banking on injuries more than they are anything?
yeah, I think they're just banking on not, playing 17 games. It's hard to do.
Right. Not many guys can do it. So we'll see. Any other NFC North, AFC North takes? Anything else we got for the pod? Because that's it. I got everything out. I got nothing.
I would say it was, it's a pleasure to join talking about two great divisions here, and can't fucking wait, fellas. It's right around.
Yeah.
By Thursday, we'll get our college football. We'll do a little college football thing. So we'll figure out if we do something like we did NFL. NFL will probably keep the same. Maybe we'll talk in the next week or two.
Offline, but the format feels good.
Yep. I like that. And Max, you did have a finger raise. So anything else?
No, I did want to comment on how you need to get a jersey that's updated, because you clearly didn't want to wear your Rodgers one. So you got to do something.
Well, Max, remember, he's pretty old, so he doesn't know where to find them. He doesn't even know where to shop.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that Caesars promo where if I bet $100 or more on the fucking money line on Thursday night, then I get like a free fucking jersey coupon, and then I might just get me a Jordan Love. Damn it!
All right, very nice.
I like the number 9. Number Mr. Watson looks good. If we're gonna be honest, realistically, Jair Alexander at 23. That's probably the most. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's bullshit. Give me like a week or two, and then I can figure it out.
Max, I know it's not quite midnight, but happy birthday, man. And I guess by the time this comes out, hope you're having a great birthday. Have a couple nice beers after work. And then I'll give you a quick, just get this in before 11 a.m. tomorrow. Christopher Eubanks, Casper Ruud, and Tiafo. All parlay money line there for it's just even, just like plus 101, but just to give you a win before like 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll send you a text out.
Fuck yeah. Thank you. I love that.
Thank you.
Of course, man. I'll be yourself, bud.
All right, fellas. Well, that's what we do. We pick winners. We got plenty to talk about. We'll get a little post or something with all of our features and props before that.
The best of the best.
Yeah, best of the best. So we'll get that out for the people. Otherwise, let's have ourselves a good weekend. I will probably talk to you guys maybe on Thursday. We give the people some college football locks before the weekend, depending on how we do on the Thursday games. But if not, we'll at least post something with our picks if we don't pod. So everyone have a good Labor Day weekend if we don't talk before that. Go Steelers, go Bears, go Pack, go. Let's have ourselves a good week.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.